Most people will just type a request into ChatGPT, take what comes out, and then feel disappointed. Then they go looking for how to create better prompts. And if you're trying to break into data analytics, learn new tools, build a new portfolio, position yourself for a better career move, that generic output is not just annoying, it's holding you back and it's costing you time that you do not have. The fix has nothing to do with prompts, or prompts are only the surface level to it. I was recently having lunch with a friend and we got onto the topic of AI and best practices. And he asked me what I actually do. How do I get the output that I actually get? And if I could just send him a prompt. But then when I thought about it after, I realized that it wouldn't be as helpful. A prompt without the thinking behind it would be like handing someone a wrench without the engine or the mechanical know how. So, what I did was something better. I took all my main AI tools that I use, my own AI agents, Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot at work, and had it analyze my patterns. So, in essence, it's about three things. Here is the mistake that kills everything. Most people skip the thinking before they type, they go straight into the request. Help me with my resume, help me build a dashboard, a new project, teach me SQL. And what they get back is okay, but it's broadly, generically okay. It's surface level. It looks like it could belong to anybody. And that's not an AI problem, that's a context problem. A lot of people would just use it in this way, generically broad, where it just says, help me with my resume, and it's going to produce resume edits, which is fine. But when you add in more context, help me position my 15 years of healthcare operation experience so that hiring managers for an analytics role sees me as low risk and high upside. That will produce a better strategy and it has your intent and your context baked into the prompt. Same tool, same AI, different outputs, different league. When I inherited a system enterprise and application that I've never touched before, so what I did here was I did not just tell it to teach me Databricks. I asked it to give me the 80/20 a top engineer would prioritize to run, fix, and improve this specific system. The frame did half the work. It's the same move whether you're learning Databricks, SQL, Tableau, or anything else for the first time. If your AI output feels generic, it's not because the AI is bad. It's because that one sentence or multiple sentences request forces the AI to assume that you're a generic user with generic goals. So it's going to pull from its training data as a whole, which is going to be bad because you're just going to get the average of that training data. So the fix is going to be give AI more context. Tell AI who you are, what you already know, what you're trying to accomplish, what good looks like, and what bad looks like. The context is not extra, the context is the work. And this is also what we've been doing recently in terms of moving AI forward in getting better outputs. So the next one is everyone will tell AI act as a data analyst. This is good. This is the start though. So you narrow down the training set a little bit. The best AI operators are going to do, they're going to calibrate a little differently. They're going to calibrate with four different anchors. So the top level is going to be top performing. Then you want to give it the context and the avenue at an leading enterprise. Then you want it to be judged, evaluated by a skeptical hiring manager. And then the reality is with edge cases that exist in real business data as if I'm already working there. So when you ask AI to help you build a portfolio project, do not say create a dashboard. You can still get good output out of it, surprisingly. Say this instead. Build this as a job ready project that tackles real existing business problems with the nuances and edge cases that would exist in real data at a level that would impress a hiring manager that I'm applying to within this industry. One sentence, completely different output. The bar setting also raises the polish. And that's going to matter, especially for portfolio projects when you're trying to build and enhance your portfolio, because a lot of people, their portfolio projects, especially after reviewing so many more portfolio projects now and coaching people, they look like student portfolio projects. They're just not that good. And a hiring manager will see through impressive looking work the moment that they ask you a question. So you need to learn about every nuance about that project on top of having AI direct you, improve your portfolio project. You need to learn the ins and the outs without AI so that you can answer the context and the question, and that AI is making you better as a candidate, not just relying on AI. Now, let's go to the vending machine problem metaphor. Most people are treating AI like a vending machine. They just type in a request or over glorify Google. They type in a request, take what comes out, feels disappointed, and then repeat. This is, in technical terms, called just one-shot prompting. You just give it one sentence, basically, no context, no other things that you're adding. So here is what I do, and I do this in multiple stages. So say you're building a portfolio project analyzing hospital readmission data. One-shot prompting is going to give you a generic dashboard with surface level insights, but if you work in stages and you iterate on this, you can make that portfolio project look like it's job ready with better understanding than if you just use that one prompt by its own. First, you want to extract the real business questions from the data. Then you organize it into patterns, and then you want to diagnose what is missing. Then you draft the first draft. Then you want to iterate and you want to refine based on your direction, based on what you're finding, and based on the questions that you have. Then you're going to pressure test it by having AI attack your own analysis before anyone else does. So that is a multi-step process in different iterations that I will go through to make sure that I can get the best final output. So think about each part of that stage, each part of that version is a steering point, an enhancement point, a place where your taste, your standards, your judgment enters the work. AI is going to handle the execution, the speed, and the options, but you're going to be handling the decisions, the quality, and the direction, which is where we are heading inside the industry and how I see how we're using it in enterprise companies today. So the pros are not just better at a single prompt, it's also that they just never relied on one in the first place. Let's get to something that surprised me on this entire analysis. There's one skill that showed up in all three reports in all different analysis because I use them differently and independently without me prompting for them to find this. The move was simple. It was instead of asking AI questions, you want to flip it. What I do is I have AI grill me and interview me. One question at a time, short questions, and then you tell it to push past your vague answer until a specific moment, a specific number, a specific result. Especially if you're making a new career move, people chronically underexplain their own value and they're too in the weeds to understand what they bring to the table, especially with career switchers. So if you've been in healthcare operations, nursing, case management, claims processing, you've been solving data and business problems every day. You just call it something else. The things that you do feel normal will feel invisible because you're just stuck in the context, in the weeds of things. So you don't know how to explain it on your resumes and interviews, and you don't mention it in a way that is positioned in the best way. So when you use AI as an interview, it has infinite patience, zero social cost, and can dig up those specifics. And this is not just an AI trick. This is a move that can change how people see themselves, not just how they use a tool. And that mindset shift of seeing your value, of being able to have AI interview you and get out your career achievements, new resume bullets, and the value that you actually bring and why it matters to this hiring manager at this new company, it changes people's confidence. And if you've ever been curious about what a healthcare business analyst consultant does on the daily, I have a video here. Check it out, and then you can find out what I do.